Wow, welcome to St. Perran's Church in Perranzanbuloe. I'm not sure how the name is pronounced, but here we are in the land of my ancestors. I'm guessing the old graves. Oh no. Let's have a look around and see if I can find any. Oh my goodness, it goes all the way around there. I did not anticipate this graveyard being so big. So what has brought me to this town? Well, my great grandfather. He lived in this area, and he left in 1849 on the Emma Eugene ship for Australia. Not as a convict. His occupation was listed as a tin miner. On the ship, his wife died, giving birth, and there's no mention of the baby, so one presumes the baby died as well. And then he got married again in Australia. Anyway, this family, is very came to a halt for the tracing came to a halt for a while because his name on the passenger list was he's a Samson. Let's start with that one. Every generation back to so far the 1600s has a Samson in their line. My sort of grandfather history sort of goes Samson, John, Samson. I think that's about right. Anyway, the name here is Barkla. It's a Barkla, which apparently is the Cornish version of Barclay. When he got on the ship, they didn't write down the A on the end of the name. So it came out as Barkl, which you must admit is sort of comes across as fairly unusual. Anyway, as that was his then identification, I guess, he stayed with that name. I'm never going to find anything. It's like, yeah, well, I might find something. Bloody fluke. Just tripped over a grave. Well done. Anyway, yeah, so basically, they kept the name Barkle. And for, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 generations. That was my mother's maiden name. Now there should be some Barkleys here because they had big families. And I'm not sure if there's 1 or 2 generations around here, but apparently they originate from St. Agnes. And there used to be a fairly big name in St. Agnes, although apparently it's petering out a bit. So someone has written on ancestry.co.uk. It's always handy when someone else has done a family history. Of course, you've always got to make sure you're getting the right people, which can be difficult when you're going past the 1800s, earlier than the 1800s. It's an assumption that back in the day, before people had surnames, or they took on the names of the local lords. And there was a local lord around here called Lord Berkeley, and they reckon that Barkla is the Cornish word for Berkeley. But some people have done a really good job of transcribing the parish records. And there's a website that has the transcriptions of the records, which was what helped me a lot, because you can find what's mentioned there, like, the births and the parent's name, and if you can put that into your tree, then give it a couple of minutes, ancestry.com will find any records that relate to it, or other people's trees that relate to it, so you can look at that, which is really helpful. So I don't have any, unfortunately. It would have been great to find his actual address, but the census that was done in 1841, which he is on, but it just gives a borough, it doesn't give you addresses. I think which was further on they started doing the full address. So I can't go and check exactly where he lived. But I've only been briefly looking at these. I could have walked past one quite easily without knowing. There's just so many. I didn't expect to be that many. Right, so I shall carry on looking, and that'll be about it for now. I'll be very interested to see if I can get back further than the 1600s. It'd be good to get back to like the Doomsday. I thought that would be impressive. And since they've kept such good records so far that I can see to 1600s, and birth, marriages, deaths, someone may uncover it, or I might uncover it. Unlikely. Anyway, I'm glad I come here to see this. I mean, there's not much of a town about as such. It's just a church and a few houses. There's not a lot to look at in the immediate area. I'll look further down the line and see what I can come up with in St. Agnes, and I'll go there. But they definitely, a lot of them in this area. I know one of his brothers went to America, but I haven't looked into that because See, a lot of these are very hard to read, so I better concentrate. I'm going to have to come in here and back and spend hours, I think, by the looks of it. Only sort of planned to come here for a little hour. So that I'll have a quick wander around the churchyard, not expecting it to be this big. That is St. Perran's Church, obviously. If you haven't heard of St. Perran, he was he came from Spain, big saint. There's a lot, and they have big celebrations on St. Perran's Day, and there's a bit of information, you can Google it. Yeah, so I haven't found a single Barclay yet. And yeah, so that is it. And it's more promising than I've done this is maternal side. I started my paternal side. I've got far as back as Yorkshire, late 1700s, and I come to a dead end. Although there's a suspicion, I think, on that side they may have come. He may have come down from Teesside, which I know up in that area there was a lot more people with my surname. This ground is really uneven. Pretty busy little road over here. A3075. Anyway, apparently there's four churches in this parish. So, although I didn't expect every single gravestone, I'm a bit surprised I didn't see one Barclay. So maybe they're buried somewhere else. The investigation continues. Dun, dun, dun.